Welcome to Eat Like a Local, a podcast discussing the food and travel guides from CZYK Publishing. Each guide highlights a travel destination through the best places to find great food, as recommended by a local in the area. Now, here's your host, Tom Hess.
Hey, hungry travelers, Tom here. Welcome back to the Eat Like a Local podcast. Today we are headed south to Dallas, Texas. You know, Dallas is a great city, and the food scene there is as diverse as Dallas is itself. And what you're going to find out is there's a lot of choices for you to experience if you're going to Dallas for a food destination travel, or just if you're in Dallas for any reason and you need to eat. But remember, these are recommendations based on the experiences of a local. So, like I always tell you, if you're going to Dallas and you want to go eat at any of these places, just do your homework ahead of time, because things are always subject to change and you don't want to go there expecting to get to a place and find out that you can't go there. So without any further ado, let's get into the Dallas, Texas Eat Like a Local travel guide. Before we start, I just want to remind you that all the Eat Like a Local travel and food guides are available on Amazon, either in paperback, they have ebooks, and many of them are on audiobook. So you can download or purchase any format that you want to help you plan for your next food destination trip. So let's get into this book. Now, I have to tell you, as you can imagine, and we even talk about it in the book, everything in Texas is bigger, including the Eat Like a Local Dallas, Texas food guide. So we're going to tackle this in a couple of episodes. We just can't do it all at once because it would be just too expansive. And I want to touch on a few things, so we're going to break it up a little bit. So let's get into the book. The book and the travel guide was written by a local Dallas writer, and her name is Rose Ibrahim. Now, Rose is a writer, obviously, from Dallas, Texas. She's been there for about 23 years, but she's originally from Atlanta, Georgia. She got her love of food from her parents, who are Indian and Pakistani, and they taught her all about the Indo-Pak cuisine. But most importantly, they exposed her to foods from other parts of the world. And that's really how you experience a culture. I mean, in my opinion anyway, how you really experience a culture is to experience their food. And Rose did that got that mentality from her parents, and it taught her to really enjoy food and the culture that comes with it. Now, another thing about Rose is she is a food reviewer. She does a lot of reviews on Yelp, so many, in fact, that she has been nominated as one of Dallas's elite Yelpers. So she knows her way around the Dallas food scene, but when she's not eating, she enjoys writing, running, reading, she does yoga, and then just spending time with her family. So let's get into this and talk about Dallas. Now, a little bit about Dallas itself. It's the third largest city in Texas. My guess would be behind probably Houston and maybe Austin. I guess they're the other big cities in Texas. And it's the ninth most populous city in Texas. It's one of the most diverse cities in the country. And as you can imagine, its largest ethnic group would be Hispanics. And it also has one of the largest LGBTQ communities in the country. Now, like I said before, the Dallas food scene is very diverse. It's accessible. And for the most part, it's very affordable, although there are a couple places where you can splurge if you want to. The food that Dallas is famous for, it's well known for barbecue, authentic Mexican, Tex-Mex, which we'll find out are two separate things, and some famous Dallas foods and food scene things in Dallas are El Phoenix, Mi Cochina, and the Mansion on Turtle Creek. And the frozen margarita, which was invented in Dallas, or at least by a Dallasan, or do we call them Dallasans? Or a Dallas person, someone from Dallas anyway. So there's many restaurants that feature cuisines from all around the world. We're going to get into a lot of them, but like I said, we have to divide it up. And in this episode, we're kind of going to focus on what I consider authentic Dallas and Texas American style food. And we'll get into the international stuff and some other things in another episode. Now, when should you go to Dallas? Well, the best time, according to Rose anyway, the best time to visit Dallas is in the fall months. That would be September, October, and November. Now, the reason for this is, as you can imagine, Dallas and Texas in the summertime can be a little unbearable. So once you get into the fall, the Texas heat is starting to wane a little bit. And also another benefit is the tourist traffic also starts to wane a little bit. So you can do more things, see more things, and more importantly, eat more things than you might not be able to during the real crowded, hot times. And the other thing about Dallas in the fall is the Texas State Fair is in full swing. Now, as far as where to stay, you can go all over, but it depends on kind of what you want to do and where the kind of thing you want to do, the vibe you want. And real quickly, I'm just going to go through the different neighborhoods in Dallas so you can just get a kind of a feel and maybe a little bit of a preview of what might fit into your style of vacation that you would want to have. So I'm going to start off in the area called the Bishop Arts District. This is like the hip, quaint, has a lot of charm. It's located in North Oak Cliff, and it's only 5 minutes from downtown. Moving along, if you're into music and entertainment, then you might want to think about concentrating your travels or staying in the area called Deep Ellum. It's east of downtown Dallas, and it's the largest entertainment district in the region. Next up is the Design District. So if you're into maybe a little more artsy and sophisticated, little eclectic type of vibe, you might want to consider the Design District. It's the home of Dallas's best interior design showrooms. It has art galleries, fashion retailers, and it's 2 miles northwest of downtown. And then, of course, we have downtown. So if you want to be right in the middle of everything, the urban, commercial areas, it has the business district. It has the arts district, Trinity River, and you're right there where the convention center is. Moving along, another upbeat, I'll call it upbeat, vibrant, busy area is an area called Knox Henderson. Now, if you like walking around a city and seeing that kind of thing, Knox Henderson might be for you, because this is the pedestrian-friendly area. It has shops, bars, a lot of different places to eat. Now, in East Dallas is the section called Lower Greenville. It's energetic, fun, social. It's has one of the major nightlife strips in the city, has bistros, a lot of live music, and a lot of tequila bars. Moving along, we have Trinity Groves. That's kind of casual, more low-key vibe, if that's what you're into. It has a 15-acre restaurant, retail, artist, and entertainment destination at the base of the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge, and that's in West Dallas. There's Uptown, which is chic, stylish, and trendy. That's just a little bit north of downtown Dallas. It also has some nightlife. And then finally, we have an area called Victory Park, which is metropolitan and a little more stimulating. That's where the American Airlines Center is, and it has its culture, modern dining, and entertainment, and that's just northwest of downtown. But no matter where you are, you're going to get a taste of Dallas wherever you go. Now, like I said, with this book, everything is bigger in Dallas. And Dallas, Texas itself makes up 7.4% of the total area of the United States. And that's saying a lot, considering Alaska, I think Alaska itself is, as big area as the the lower 48. I could be wrong, but if it's not, it's close. So just one thing to get you the idea of everything's bigger in Texas is a place that Rose writes about. It's called the Maple Leaf Diner, and it's Dallas's original Canadian diner. So you wouldn't think of a Canadian diner in deep south of Dallas, but it features home-style favorites and Canadian specialties. The menu centers around breakfast and lunch items, and customer favorites include chicken and waffles, chicken fried steak, French toast, poutine, chicken sandwiches, fish and chips, pizza burger, cabbage rolls, and eggs Benedict. And they also have Bloody Marys, mimosas, and Canadian beers. So it has all your typical diner foods, but it throws in a couple Canadian, well, at least one Canadian favorite, which is poutine, which if you're unfamiliar with is French fries with cheese curds and gravy. Now, where I live, we have cheese fries and we have gravy fries. This kind of combines them all together. And it has Canadian beers, which I'm very happy about because Canadian beer is my jam, as they say. Talking about Texas and Dallas, you have to think about the official food of Texas, which you can imagine would be chili. It was recognized as the official food of Texas in 1977. And old-time big band swing band leader Harry James once said about chili he said, quote, "Next to music, there is nothing that lifts the spirits and strengthens the soul more than a good bowl of chili." And it's hard to disagree with that statement. So if you want to try some good chili in Dallas, a couple spots that Rose suggests are the Katy Trail Ice House. They have a venison chili, and the Maple Landing, they have burnt ends brisket chili. Both sound really good to me. So let's get into some of the different types of foods that you can find in Dallas that Rose writes about in her book. Let's start right off with something I mentioned earlier, Tex-Mex. Now, what is Tex-Mex? Tex-Mex is a combination, if you don't know, of Texas and Mexican. And it's basically Southwest American regional cuisine that came from the Tejanos, which are Texans of Mexican descent. And they use a lot of shredded cheese, meat, beans, flour tortillas, that kind of thing. And the place that Rose says to go for some good Tex-Mex food is a spot called El Phoenix. It's a chain spot. It's a chain restaurant, but it's the oldest chain of Mexican restaurants in the U.S., and it's a Dallas staple. They are credited with the creation of Tex-Mex cuisine in 1918 by their founder, Miguel Martinez. The kind of food you're going to get there is their popular dishes are enchiladas, fajitas, quesadillas, and tortilla soup. They also have salsa that Rose says is addicting, with thick consistency and a sweeter tomatoey flavor. But if you happen to be there on a Wednesday, make sure you get the enchilada dinner special. Rose recommends that. And obviously you want to get a good margarita with your Tex-Mex meal. And that is on McKinney Avenue in Dallas. Speaking of margaritas, like I said before, the frozen margarita was invented by Dallas's very own Mariano Martinez. How it came about was, in 1971, he opened a restaurant called Mariano's Mexican Cuisine, and they had one blender that they were making 200 margaritas a night. So finally he thought to himself, I got to think of a better way. And what he did was he modified an ice cream machine to make frozen margaritas. So he could just make up the mix of margaritas, pour this into the machine, and then the bartenders could just crank them out one after the other like they do, at the convenience store where you get your icy or your Slurpee, whatever you call them. But if you don't happen to be by Mariano's Mexican Cuisine, other good places to get good margaritas, according to Rose, are a place called Capizano in Oak Lawn. You can try the mango chamoy or the tamarindo chamoy margarita. And Mariano's Hacienda, I don't know if that's the same place as Mariano's Mexican Cuisine, but stands to reason. You can get, I guess it probably is because they say they have the original frozen margarita, or you can get a really good margarita on the rocks. Moving along from Tex-Mex, something kind of similar, Tacos. I love a good taco. I'll eat a taco with anything, any day of the week. Rose suggests that we stop by the Velvet Taco on North Henderson Avenue. It's not like a regular street taco type of deal. They have tacos like the spicy tikka chicken and the fried paneer taco. Other favorites are Nashville hot tofu, chicken and waffle, and shrimp and grits. Are these taco flavors? I guess. Or no, just other, maybe just other dishes. But they all sound good. They have queso blanco, elote corn, and crisp tots and eggs you can get as a side to accompany your meal. And they have really good hot sauce there too, she says. What about barbecue? I love barbecue. Naturally, anywhere in the South, I'm thinking barbecue. But the cool thing about Texas is where most people think of barbecue, we think of pork. Texas is big beef barbecue, especially brisket. But they also do have pork. And Rose tells us to stop by the Pecan Lodge on Main Street. She says it's arguably the best barbecue you can get in Dallas. They started as a small catering company in 2009, but they're known for their brisket, beef ribs, and pulled pork. They also have sandwiches, fried chicken, and sides like mac and cheese, fried okra, and coleslaw. But if you're there for lunchtime, maybe you might want to bring a lunch because he said there's some long lines and wait times at lunch. Now, another thing about Texas, when I think of Texas and I think of beef, I think of steak. So if you're visiting Dallas, I think a good steakhouse is probably something that you want to stop and experience as a really good steakhouse in Texas. Rose says Nick and Sam's is a good one to go to. That's on Maple Avenue. They have great steak, sides, and even sushi with a lively atmosphere and a piano bar. Or not a piano bar, but they have live piano music. She says it's a place where people go to be seen. It's like I guess maybe it's trendy or the popular place, but it's the place people go to be seen. She likes the filet mignon and mac and cheese side, but here's the thing that I got. I'm not a big dessert guy. Well, that's a lie. I like dessert. She said they have a huge 7-layer cake with fruit and gummy bears that she actually says is awesome. Now, if steak isn't your favorite or your thing, you want to go scale it down a little bit to just a good old burger, Rose suggests the Rodeo Goat on Market Center Boulevard. That's in the Design District. They have a burger called the Hot Bastard that has marinated Fresnos and habanero cheddar cheese. She says usually you're sweating within no time, and it also usually needs you usually have to take about a 5-minute break after eating the first half of the burger. Other good burgers there are the Chaca Oaxaca with fried egg, the Telluride, the Brad Cham, and the Nanny Goat. Now, cool thing about the Rodeo Goat is you can get any of their burgers with any type of meat. They have beef, chicken, turkey. They have a black bean burger and a vegan Impossible Meat burger. They also have a Burger of the Month battle where they make 2 unique burgers. They're limited time burgers, and they have a competition to see which burger is ordered the most. I don't know what the prize is at the end, but it's something pretty cool if you're there. Another stop that you could go to is Haystack Burgers and Barley in Oak Lawn. They have the Haystack Burger, Avocado Ranch. If you like more of a McDonald's type of vibe, you can get the Vanderslice, which is kind of like a Big Mac, a chicken fried burger, and an escabech burger. So that's a lot of different beef options, whether you want high scale steak or low or not low scale or low budget, but if you're just not into steak, you want burgers, you got options. How about some Southern food, Southern comfort food? In Lower Greenville is a place called The Porch on Henderson Avenue. Now, just a little sidebar. You're going to find as you go through this book, there's a lot of good food stops on Henderson Avenue. I don't know if Henderson Avenue is just a really long street or they have just a concentration in a certain area, but that seems to be a hub of good food. The Porch, they serve very good what you would think of as good Southern comfort food. How about a good old cheeseburger? Short rib stroganoff sounds good to me. The something they call the Stodge burger, chicken fried steak, and if you're hankered for some dessert, gooey butter cake. Bro suggests that you make sure you try that. Now, if you want to blow the bank, or not, I don't even know we shouldn't say blow the bank because I don't know how much these places cost. But if you're there to celebrate, if you have a special occasion that you want to celebrate for, whether it be a birthday, you're traveling for an anniversary, maybe you're going to Dallas on your honeymoon, or just something special, there's a couple places you can go that are going to feature chefs or restaurants that are food recognized. In the food industry, the two big things, at least in my opinion, that everyone seems to strive for are Michelin star ratings and James Beard awards. And you can find both in Dallas. There's a place called The Knife that's in Lower Greenville. It's a steakhouse. And Chef John Tazar, who has been James Beard nominated, and he has been on Bravo TV's Top Chef television show, they serve there. They have sriracha pork belly, sounds really good. Akayushi ribeye, not sure what that is, but it's probably pretty good. Grilled big short rib, it's big and it's short at the same time. Black truffle penne, and, wait for it, bacon tasting. 2 words that's sure to set any foodie's heart aflutter. Also in Dallas, another place you can go for special occasion celebrations. In Uptown, featuring New American restaurant, is Fearing's. Now, if you know anything about food, you know the name Dean Fearing. He is a James Beard Award winner for Best Chef Southwest. And what you're going to get at Fearing's, tortilla soup, crab cakes, foie gras, buffalo tenderloin, chicken fried Maine lobster, just to name a few. So I used to see Dean Fearing on a lot of different cooking TV shows. So I know just from TV that you're going to be all right going to his place. Now, another cool place that I wanted to touch on, because I think any good foodie should experience something like this, and that is the Dallas Farmers Market. Starting in the 19th century, farmers from all over the area would sell their stuff in and around locations in the city from wagons. And the intersection of South Pearl and Cadiz, that's where the hub of this business would evolve. You could get produce, chickens, pigs, eggs, goats. They're all being sold in North Texas. And in 1939, this place called The Shed was established. That was to satisfy the demand for farm fresh produce and meat. Now, you can find almost anything in The Shed, from tomatoes, peaches, fruits, vegetables, herbs, you name it, they're going to have it there. They have eggs, meats, and cheeses from local purveyors. Prepared items like hummus, jellies, salsas, pickles, jerky, rubs, and they even have pet items as well as bath and body items. Additionally, they have a nearby market, which is a 26,000 square foot hall that has artisanal vendor market, 4 anchor restaurants, and a mixture of local specialty foods, artisanal foods, and a seating area that you can, have some food or just grab a cup of coffee. They also have shops, bakery shops, beer shops, butcher shops, cheese shops, lunch, housewares, gifts. Like I said, you name it, you're going to find it at the Dallas Farmers Market. I just wanted to touch on that because just going through the book, it sounded like a really cool place. And if you have time, I think you should definitely make it a point to go and see the Dallas Farmers Market. Now, like I said earlier, at the very beginning, if you're in Dallas in the fall, and if you're there at the right time, experience the State Fair of Texas. Now, the Texas State Fair has been going on for 135 years, since 1886. you're going to find all the typical state fair things, rides, games, attractions, probably music shows, other kind of shows. And my favorite part about going to fairs and festivals is the food. One thing I will tell you, don't go to the Texas State Fair or any fair for that matter if you're on a diet expecting to eat diet food, because what they have at the Texas State Fair is any fair or state fair or whatever, it's just a fried food bonanza. And at the Texas State Fair, you're going to find fried Frito pie, stuffed fried taco cone, fried ice cream, fried Thanksgiving dinner, fried bacon. Get this one, deep fried butter. I don't know how you would even do that. And fried peanut butter and jelly. And plus, you're also going to find your typical fair foods, corn dogs, funnel cakes, that kind of thing. So like I said, you're not going to the Texas State Fair to lose weight. You're going to experience some fried food and just walk around the fair, walk fast from vendor to vendor and walk off those calories. So that's going to be from the end of September through mid-October. So that's where the Texas State Fair is that you want to go see and get all that good fried food. And that, gang, is pretty much a brief capsule of just what I consider the typical American Texas South food that's listed in Rose Ibrahim's Eat Like a Local Dallas, Texas food guide. Hey, thanks for joining me today. This first part of our trip through Dallas was a lot of fun. I hope you come back for the next time. But before that, remember, all the Eat Like a Local publications can be found on Amazon in paperback, ebook format, and most are available in audiobook format as well. So hopefully this motivated you to go check out Dallas or any other food city for that matter and see what they have to offer you, and you're going to have a really good time. So please join me next time for the next part of our Dallas food adventure. And if you would like, subscribe to the Eat Like a Local podcast. It's available on many podcast platforms. So just find it. If you find it, you obviously found it because you're here, but just, hit that subscribe. So when the next section of Dallas pops up or any of our other podcasts, you can listen to it and see where you want to go and experience some food from around the world and around your own backyard as experienced by a local. So thanks from me, from our publisher, Lisa Ruschek. And if you want more information about this book or any other book, remember you can always go to greaterthanatourist.com and get a lot more information there. So until then, fun food travels, enjoy the ride, and have a great food trip. I'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks for listening to Eat Like a Local from CZYK Publishing with your host, Tom Hess. We hope you enjoyed our look at this book to help you plan your next food and travel adventure. If you want more ideas about food and travel across the country and around the world, join us for our next episode. You can always find out more about all our travel books by visiting CZYKPublishing.com, as well as check out all the links and resources in the show notes. That's all for this episode. See you next time.